Hello and welcome to the third lesson in GamerPay Skin School. My name is Asger and I'll be your professor today, where we're going into depth with CSGO floats. Let's get into it. All CSGO skins except for vanilla skins have a float. This float can range from 0 to 1 and greatly affects how the skin looks. But how the look is affected really depends on the skin. There's 5 conditions a skin can have, and the condition of a skin is classified by the float, or skin wear as some people refer to it as. Some skins like the Orb Dragon Law shows clear signs of high float, with different scuffs and destroyed spots around the skin. But other skins like the Orb Medusa does not really get more worn as the float increases, but just becomes darker. Most skins also have what is called a cap float. Take the AK-47 Redline for example. The skin cannot be obtained in factory new, as the lowest possible float for this skin is 0.10. And since the skin has to have a float that is lower than 0.07 to be factory new, it is impossible to get an AK-47 Redline in factory new condition. The highest float for an AK-47 Redline is 0.7. Another example is the Orb Asimov. This skin's float ranges from 0.18 to 1, meaning that this skin cannot be obtained in factory new or minimal wear condition, as the float would have to be lower than 0.15 for this to be possible. What is really interesting about the Orb Asimov in particular is the fact that there is an entire market for the high float version of this skin. When the Orb Asimov has a float of 0.95 or greater, the community has nicknamed this skin the Blackimov, as the look on the skin completely changes. The scope turns black and the skin gets the overall really cool look. It is not only the high float skins that there is a demand for. The low float skins also have a niche market, since there's a lot of people collecting low float skins, not necessarily because of the look, but simply because of how rare the skin is. The float can also be capped in both directions. Take the Orb Fade for example, which is capped at 0.08, meaning that the skin can only be obtained in minimal wear and factory new condition. There is currently no way of checking float caps in-game, but external sites like CSGO Stash have a whole database where all the float caps are listed for the different skins. Most skins, however, is capped somewhere kind of in the middle, so it looks something like 0.06 to 0.80. Finally, before I end this lesson, I want to address a common misconception about floats, which is that the skins get more worn over time if you play with them, meaning that the float number increases. However, this is nothing but a myth, and the float will remain the same forever, and there is nothing you can do to change the float. So unfortunately, you will not be able to turn a normal Orb Asimov into Orb Blackimov. And that wraps up the third lesson of GamerPay Skin School. I hope you learned something new watching this, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.